Hello, everybody, and welcome to Forever Sports and an interesting weekend of Six Nations rugby. France very much throwing down the gauntlet for their bid to try and win the Six Nations. But three teams coming away with bonus point wins means the table is looking very interesting heading into round two, and should also be very interesting to see this particular weekend where the entire tournament, not say the entire tournament, a lot of the tournament could ride on what the teams get done this weekend, and very excited to see how those sort of teams, which are off to a good start, do perform. Before we look at some of the results, we're going to be talking a little bit about whether France are the overall favourites. Are Ireland potentially fading? How much respect do we give to Italy? What is Scotland all about as well? And where to really for Warren Gatland and Wales? Before we do that, please do smash like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Let's take a look at the results, shall we? So, here we go. I mean, first game of the season, and France hammering Wales. And it's an interesting game to look at because France were very good. They were. They played well. They took their chances. But it also felt like didn't really get out of second gear, in all honesty. It felt like they were pretty comfortable. And they didn't need to. I mean, they took Anton Dupont after what, about 50 odd minutes, after he'd already gotten himself like 2 or 3 tries or whatever it was. And, 43 points to nil. Wales had maybe a 10-minute period where they were semi-competitive. But after that, they just weren't. They got blown away. Injuries as well. Nick Tompkins and Wainwright. 10 Plumtree's actually been called into the squad. So I don't really see where Warren Gatland finds any positives. And there is pressure going on. Somebody said, well, he wasn't his best to win the game. No, he wasn't. But he's now on a 13 test loss streak. And where does he find the result? This game this weekend, we'll talk about in a bit, is so important for Warren Gatland, because if he does not beat Italy this weekend, what are we doing really? And I think the main thing over here is not so much the result. Wales are never going to win that game, but look at the performance. Was there positives for Warren Gatland? And I really struggle to find something, to be perfectly honest, apart from the fact that Jack Morgan looked back at his best. I think that's about the only positive you can find. For France, difficult really to assess them in terms of them being very good and getting a bonus point win, scoring 43 points. But again, against such a poor opposition, you're not really sure where France stand. Well, this weekend, I think we get a much better idea. Scotland then beating Italy. I tell you what, Scotland took started very well and scored a couple of early tries. Italy then coming back to making it 19-9, but then not, 19 apiece, but then not having anything more in, and Scotland sort of running those 2 tries late in the end. Hugo is absolutely superb. For me, has to get a British and Irish Lions come the end of the year. But a bit of a warning sign for Scotland that Italy are not a team that you can just stop playing against. However, Scotland did manage to get the result, and I felt Scotland weren't nearly at their best. And I think that maybe a part of that was Italy played quite well. But at the same time, Italy, this is a game they won last year, and they would have liked to have really pushed Scotland all the way. And again, there were a couple of positives for Italy. But again, you can't be conceding 31 points. I think this is my continued frustration, that Italian defense can switch off far too easily, and they concede really soft tries. Until they sort of, remove that sort of the soft try element from their team, I think that they'll continue to struggle. And then the game of the weekend, a game in the first half, which was highly entertaining, and then kind of I thought the quality sort of ebbed and flowed a little bit. England actually 10 points to 5 up at half time, and they'll be kicking themselves because they put in a really big first half performance. And then in the second half, 15, 20-minute period, they just switched off. Ireland just shifted the momentum, kicked into gear, and got the bonus point victory, but for 2 late England tries, which sort of salvaged a decent scoreline. The main thing I think, for Ireland is they looked rusty. A lot of people talking about, is Ireland fading? Are we starting to lose that fear you have from Ireland? And I think that I don't think they're getting worse as a side. I don't think Ireland were bad. I think they were very good. And I think when Jack Crowley came on, I thought they were superb, and I think that he made a big difference. I think he'll definitely be starting this weekend. I thought Sam Prendergast struggled, didn't keep touch particularly well, made a couple of silly errors, and I think probably showed that while he's an exciting player, he should be using a bench role, should not be starting against the likes of an England. So Ireland, I think again looked a bit rusty. A couple of good performances. James Gibson Park, absolutely world class. Caelan Doris, industrious as ever. Bundy Aki, very solid. James Lowe continues his sort of form. So Ireland, they can still a very good side. I think the main thing for them was to get this result. Get a result for Simon Easterbeast, let him sort of settle into the role, and then go from there. England, on the other hand, there were lots of positives there. See, what we'll be looking at that game is a game they could have won. And I think they genuinely could have won if they'd been a bit more accurate. Discipline let them down, and in a big way. And when you see, Mario Toja and footage of him, looking to try and stamp on, I think, with Mac Hansen and the afters, England have got a massive discipline issue. And I really think that this culture that they've got in the squad is a really poor culture in terms of the celebrating all the penalties, actually losing their mind for a knock on and penalties. They do play very competition in terms of trying to, get people to react to things and playing a lot of sort of the dark arts of commas. And I just think they need to focus more on their discipline because they're going to get that rep. And when you've got a rep of being a dirty team, inverted commas, you're not going to get to the rubber green. So I think that if England shored up their discipline and got away from, that kind of attitude, I think they could be a really good side. Caden Murray scored on debut, but Marcus Smith had some really promising moments. Ben Earl was very good. Tom Carey was very good. The scrums were good. So there were lots of positive, I think, there for England. I thought that Ollie Lawrence played really well and showed his physicality. But there's so much there they need to improve on, and discipline, I think, is a big thing. I mean, defensively looked very solid, and Ireland really struggled to break down their defense for a lot of the game. But that England discipline, until they sort that out, I just don't see it being a top-class side. It's an interesting game this weekend, isn't it? Because England will then take on France, and they've got to respond. Italy against Wales, kind of the battle of the wooden spoon. This is Italy's chance to try and beat Wales and get sort of themselves out of that last spot and get points on the board. But Wales will also be targeting this game. This will be an important game for Warren Gatland. And then Scotland versus Ireland. Scotland want any chance of winning the Six Nations, they've got to go and get a result. If they can get a result against Ireland at home, then all of a sudden, the Six Nations charge takes on some serious meaning. And I think they've got the capacity to, in fairness. I think they can. I mean, if you look at the log, it's 3 teams on 5 points. England, the only team getting a lose and bonus points. So points difference-wise, France obviously with the most, then Scotland, then Ireland. This weekend, I think, will be pretty defining. If Ireland lose to Scotland, France beat England, you think that France all of a sudden in the driving seat. But if England beat France and Scotland beat Ireland, then all of a sudden England get themselves back in the mix. Scotland, for example, almost become, not to say favourites, they're still going to go try and beat France, but they become serious contenders. So, exciting times. Let me know what you thought down in the comments below. Smash the like on the video. Let me know what you thought of some of the performances. And British and Irish Lions, what were you guys thinking? Who did you really enjoy watching this weekend? We might do a bit of a British and Irish Lions barometer tomorrow. So let me know what your picks would be down in the comments below. Smash the like on the video. Subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steve. I'll chat to you soon.